تحياتنا لكم متابعينا ومشاهدينا من قناة الأخبار. معكم حسين هاشم وحلقة خاصة ومباشرة بتغطيتنا المستمرة للانتخابات في الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية، وخاصة في ولاية ميشيغن. كان لنا عدد من المناظرات الانتخابية ما بين المرشحين اللي هن نازلين على عدد من المقاعد، خاصة في مجلس الولاية في ولاية ميشيغن. وانتم معودين علينا بالانتخابات دائما بيكون في عنا تغطية وتحليل لنتائج الانتخابات، إن كان على صعيد ميشيغن أو على صعيد الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية، مثل ما عملنا وقت الانتخابات الرئاسية والانتخابات الماضية. هلا في هيدي الانتخابات كتير مهمة، إن كان على صعيد ميشيغن أو على صعيد أمريكا، لأنه الانتخابات تقريبا بكل أمريكا وهي تسمى بالميد تيرمز أو الانتخابات النصفية. نحن عندنا بولاية ميشيغن في انتخابات على مستوى المدن، وهناك انتخابات على مستوى المقاطعة، وهناك أيضا انتخابات على مستوى الولاية، وأيضا هناك انتخابات على مستوى الكونغرس الأمريكي. وبالتالي اليوم ما سوف نناقشه في هذه الحلقة هو موضوع الانتخابات على مستوى مقاطعة وين كاونتي، يعني مقاطعة وين في ولاية ميشيغن الأمريكية، وهي تعتبر أكبر مقاطعة إذا ماني غلطان بولاية ميشيغن. لها أهمية اقتصادية سياسية كبرى، مش بس على ولاية ميشيغن وإنما أيضا على المشهد العام في الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية، ولها تأثير كبير على الانتخابات الرئاسية. اليوم معنا ضيوف باور ستارد. اليوم عندنا مثل ما بيقولوا ستار ستارد، مزبوط. راح يكون معنا أكثر من ضيف. راح يكون معنا الشيف اوف ستاف لوين كاونتي اكزيكتيف أسعد طرفه، راح يكون معنا الأستاذ سام بيضون المفوض الكوميشنر بوين كاونتي، أيضا الأندرشيرف مايك جعفر وشرف رفايال واشنطن. I'm not going to take a lot of time. The interview will be both in Arabic and English. We're going to try to go back and forth, translate in Arabic whatever we need to. رح نحكي شوي بالعربي شوي بالإنجليزي. whenever بنحكي بالإنجليزي بنرجع نترجم لكم شوي، بس لحتى نتأكد إنه كل اللي عم يحضرونا بيقدروا يتابعوا هذه الحلقة ويستفيدوا من المعلومات المقدمة. إذا عندكم أي سؤال اكتبوا لنا إياه بمربع التعليقات. الحلقة تعرض بشكل مباشر حصريا على قناة شو الأخبار. Welcome. Thank you for being here. We're going to start with allowing you guys to introduce yourself. For those who don't know you, we'll start by you, As'ad, and then we'll go this way.
Yeah, no, thank you, Hussein, for putting this together into
WhatsApp
Media Network. This is definitely an important few days that are coming up to an election. My name is As'ad Turfe. I am the Chief of Staff to the Wayne County Executive Warren C. Evans. He's also on the ballot this coming Tuesday. I work for the county. I've been with the county now for 20 years. Started off entry level with the sheriff's office, worked my way up through the ranks, and I sit now as the chief of staff of Wayne County. So thank you, Hussein, for doing this.
Thank you. Sam?
Thank you, Hussein, and WhatsApp Media for hosting this meeting tonight. With 1 week left to the election, it's very important to inform our residents in Dearborn Heights, throughout Wayne County about the importance of this election. I have been elected to the Wayne County Commission in 2018. I am running for the third term right now, and I am looking for many of your support, inshallah.
Thank you, Sam. Mike?
Thank you for having us. Like the gentleman said previously, Hussein, you really went out of your way, and I appreciate that. I think it's important for all the voters across the region to understand how important this race is.
Sure.
There's many of them. I am the Undersheriff in Wayne County, proud Undersheriff in Wayne County, with my sheriff, Raphael Washington, and I thank you again for being here.
Thank you. Sheriff?
Thank you. Raphael Washington is my name. I am the Wayne County Sheriff. 39 years in law enforcement. I actually started my law enforcement career right here in Wayne County in the Sheriff's Office 24 years later. After that, with the Detroit Police Department for 24 years, and then back at the Sheriff's Office at the request of our dearly beloved departed friend and brother Benny Napoleon. Walked in there in 2009 with him until the present. So we all know he passed away, and I had to replace. I was chosen to replace him, so I feel very honored about that, and I feel very honored to be here with you and speaking with this esteemed body of men today.
Thank you for being here for all of you. بشكل سريع جدا، أسعد هو رئيس الموظفين في رئيس مش شيفت اوف ستاف
هو
المدير العام بوين مقاطعة المفوض سام بيدون بمقاطعة وين. الأندر شيرف شريف هو يعني نائب شريف المقاطعة.
النائب المركز الثاني.
عم نحاول نترجمها بالعربي. وشريف المقاطعة اللي هو المسؤول عن الشريف ديبارتمنت. كثير عالم, a lot of people basically, you know, probably they know you guys because you're out there in the community, but they don't know exactly how the branches of government work. And actually we're lucky to have almost like 3 branches of government here today. So we want to take this chance to explain to people what do you guys do exactly. And again, we'll start with you, Asad.
Yes, so the Wayne County Executive Warren Evans, he's the county executive. He's responsible for 43 communities. That's 34 cities and 9 townships in Wayne County, just under 1.8 million people. As the county executive, his responsibility is to oversee the county finances. We have the road division. We work with 5 county-wide elected officials. The sheriff is one of them, and several other projects, the other way from economic development to running the public health department during the COVID crisis.
Yeah.
You know, and clearly it's a lot of aspects of the county executive office, but the most important thing is to working with our county-wide elected officials like the sheriff here, Raphael, Washington.
So people know like they deal directly with cities. When does the county come into place when it comes to their daily life? Like how do you guys impact your work? How do it impacts me as a Wayne County resident?
So as we look back over the last 2 years through the pandemic, the county stepped in when COVID hit. We have the Wayne County Health Department that's responsible for 42 communities in Wayne County, and when the COVID crisis hit, we stepped up. Khalil Rahal, who's a member of this community, he runs, he's the chief administrative officer for the county executive, oversees economic development. Under the county executive's leadership and through Khalil, we were able to provide about $100 million worth of grants countywide to small business and other members of the 43 communities. The county works. We got road projects that we work out through the communities, and then you look at last summer when we had the floods of I think the largest flood damage we've had in many decades. And Dearborn was one of those hardest hit communities. The county executive's office stepped up. We declared an emergency through the Department of Homeland Security, who now the director of the department now was the deputy at the time is the Undersheriff's brother here, Mike Jaffer's brother, Sammer Jaffer. He's the director now and also a member of this community too, born and raised. So, the county's involved in many aspects, and obviously Sam here sits on the legislative body, and we work very closely with the Wayne County Commission. We have the one thing that you don't see in Wayne County that you see in a lot of places. There's no fighting. We don't always agree, but we disagree respectfully, and we try to make good and right decisions for the constituents that we serve.
I have to give you guys some credit, a lot of credit, to be honest with you, because when you guys took over the county, it was almost going into bankruptcy, if
2015.
In 2015. Yes. Can we talk about the turnaround that the administration was able to do under the leadership of Executive Evans?
Yeah. So when the county executive was elected he was elected in 2014. He took office in 2015, and when he took over, the county had junk bond status. Okay. We were in the hole about I want to say my memory calls me about 150 million in the hole and a structural deficit of over $50 million annually that we had to get rid of. We were on the verge of bankruptcy.
100%.
And there ain't one person in this business and government that didn't think we were going to go into bankruptcy, especially after Detroit did it.
Yep.
The county executive's got 50 years of government experience. He's been through a lot in his career, and through his leadership, he was able to take us from a junk bond status to A bond. We were rated this past season. We received the A bond status, which means we could loan money at a lesser rate and help save the constituents money. We also saved the county pension system, so all our retirees could still get their pensions. And
even the failed jail project.
The failed jail project, and now we're working on a new jail, and the jail's almost almost complete. It's in the final
last
phases.
Quarter,
we're in the final phases on it, and hopefully sometime next year we'll be moving in, and the sheriff will have a new home.
Yes,
beautiful,
and a clean facility, organized facility for the state of the art for for our staff, but also for if a person finds themselves in a bad situation where they're have to do some time, it's an environment that's a lot better than what we're dealing
That's
with
safe
now,
and
so.
healthy, better than the one that we have right now. Sam, I'm going to move to you. I mean, you're very familiar. People know you. People, they see you, whether in real estate or whether, you know, you're very visible. You're out there. And they know you're the commissioner. They know you're the commissioner for Dearborn and Allen Park. What does your position entitle, Sam? And what do you guys do?
So let me just summarize it this way.
Yeah.
In Wayne County, we have 1.7 million people. We have 15 commissioners. Each commissioner represents a district. I represent Dearborn and Allen Park. You can look at the Wayne County commissioners as the city council members of the county, if you will.
Beautiful.
Okay, and the executive, he's like the mayor of the county.
Beautiful.
If we
Great
want to make the
example, by the way.
comparison.
Good job.
Okay, we are responsible for passing the budget, which is about $1.7 billion. The Wayne County Commission will vote on the budget for the sheriff's office, for the register of deeds, for the 5 offices that are elected in Wayne County government.
Nice.
We work very closely with the executive branch of government. And I can tell you, I proudly can tell you this, that we have a great relationship with the office of Mr. Warren Evans, and thanks to our dear friends like Ascad, Turfe, and Khalil Rahal, they stepped up, especially during the pandemic. That's when Wayne County really stepped up, and you know, from the vaccine site to the testing site, and to the distribution of many supplies after the flooding. That's when Wayne County government, the executive branch of government, really was on display, and they did a phenomenal job.
Not from an observer, from someone that have a small business, looking at Wayne County and how they helped small businesses in terms of the grant program that you were talking about. I believe they saved businesses during COVID.
Speaking of that, all the grants that was given to the small businesses, we are responsible for voting on these grants.
Beautiful.
So we work closely with Ascad and with Khalil Rahal to work on these grants. And a lot of businesses were about to shut down. Many of them were saved because of these grants that came through Wayne County.
Sam, I know when people were complaining about roads, you guys were hands-on. I know you and Asad, you guys were going from one place to another place. And the good thing I've seen as a change on the Wayne County page is you guys started posting where you're patching.
Yes.
And this is amazing, by the way. The transparency level that you guys brought, this is needed. You know, people needed to know. The other thing, probably if you can explain, Sam, when it comes to roads specifically, because I know people complain a lot about road, is there is city roads and there is county roads and there is state roads.
There's state roads also.
Too.
Yeah.
So let's say this area that we live in, if we can give an example.
So for example, like Schaefer Road, certain parts of Schaefer here in Dearborn are the city, but up to Oakwood Boulevard, that's Wayne County. Greenfield is Wayne County. Rotunda, Wyoming, Miller, these are county roads. We maintain 1,400 miles of county roads.
So when you say you maintain, what do you guys do exactly?
Well, we replace the roads. Like for example, right now, I'll give you a quick example. Oakman Boulevard.
Masbut.
That small stretch between Ford Road and Michigan, that's county.
Yeah.
And that was scheduled to be repaved in 2027. With the leadership that we have in Wayne County, and they saw the condition. Asad went there and he looked at it,
bad. It was terrible,
and it was very, very bad. And thankfully, they did repave the entire stretch of Oakman Boulevard. Miller Bridge, with the collaboration of the governor, Congresswoman Dingell, the executive, State Rep Abdullah Hamoud when he was in Lansing. All of them came together.
I'm going to talk about Miller because this is huge, صراحة, especially for this area. Miller Road and Miller Bridge too.
Yes.
And that's, I think, that's like a 7
Miller
million.
Road is under construction right now as we speak, and Miller Bridge will start next year.
Beautiful. I'm going to move to Undersheriff and the Sheriff. I think this topic, it's for both of you. When we talk about the Sheriff Department, the first thing that comes to people's mind is, we see them at events, we see them at funerals. Is this the only thing they do? So let's give a more in-depth view of what kind of stuff you actually guys do.
So I'll start and Munsheriff can take off. Our mandated duties in the Wayne County Sheriff's Office is the safety and security of our county courts, our county parks, and our county jails. That's what we're mandated to do.
So courts, parks?
County courts, parks, and jails.
jails.
The safety and security of those three entities. We have to do that. But we found that ways to make sure that we're taking care of the community as well as best we can, collaborating with other police agencies. 43 cities and townships in Wayne County, they all have a police department,
Yes.
their own police department, whether it's a 3-member department or a 33,000 member department. So what we do is go in and we'll assist those agencies. We're all short right now in law enforcement, whether it be in this county, counties across the country. Everybody, overwhelming theme is that with staffing and retention, it's recruiting. It's all an effort, and it's all a struggle for us, to be very candid. But we're getting it done. So nevertheless, we go in these various cities and townships, and we assist those agencies with the things that they want to see happen, that their community want to see happen, where their residents have quality of life issues addressed, and where they have various things, whether it be parades or fireworks or just things that go on in their communities that they can only get done through the help of us helping them do those kind of activities while their agencies take care of those calls to service that have to be addressed as well. So that's what we're about, collaborating. But again, our mandated duties are those 3 things: county courts, parks, and jails. But we're getting it done through our waterways. We're out on international waters, protecting and serving through our Marine unit. We have a mounted unit. We have a narcotics unit. We have a morality unit. We have an internet crime unit. All of those things that we're doing in addition to what we have to do mandated wise. So we're out here getting it done.
Sure. Mike, I want to focus with you on the narcotic, because I know you were leading one of the best efforts to tackle that issue that's killing our kids when it comes to drugs. Tell us more about that role that the sheriff department
I would
plays.
be remiss if I don't give credit to CEO Warren Evans and his team, Asad Turfe, coming from the sheriff's office. So narcotics was shut down due to budget cuts back in 2012, 13, and then had a conversation with the exec's office, and we were able to bring it back in a pilot program under an agreement, and now it's permanently under the Sheriff Raphael in Washington. Our narcotics unit works throughout this county. We've taken many complaints in Dearborn Heights area. We assist, like the sheriff said, we assist other agencies if needed. But majority of our cases in narcotics and morality are our own cases. We are the investigator from the beginning to the investigation and to the end.
Nice.
We actually take it from the beginning, and we end up taking it to prosecution, and obviously go through the whole court system. Very active, very professional, a bunch of individuals, guys and gals, and they do a very, very good job. One thing that the sheriff mentioned was the waterways.
Yes.
The folks don't know we have one of the best dive teams in the state of Michigan. We are out there with, unfortunately, on drownings. We get them often in Wayne County, and we have a dive team that goes and recovers the body, unfortunately, when something to that effect happens. And then we have a very active SWAT team. One of, again, I'm proud to say, one of the best in the state of Michigan. After the unfortunate Oxford shooting, Sheriff Washington brought all the SWAT teams across Wayne County together, and we had a meeting on how we would react in the future. Not necessarily taking over, but let's make sure that we are all on the same page, that if in fact this happens again, we know how to respond accordingly. And that was a great meeting, and it's going to be an ongoing conversation that we're going to have. So like the sheriff said, we do a lot with a little bit based on staffing issues, but we as you see, tomorrow we have an announcement over here in the city of Dearborn. We're expanding. We're first of its kind. We're opening up a satellite location right here at Greenfield in Michigan. We'll probably say Dearborn is the first stop of many to come. And like Assad mentioned, the new jail.
Yeah.
The new jail is going to be a state-of-the-art facility, and we're banking on that when we have a new state-of-the-art facility, we're going to have individuals that are attracted to law enforcement, and we're going to staff properly so we can get more people on the streets.
Beautiful, beautiful. I see the passion, Mike. So when you're talking, when you guys talking, I see the passion. But I'll be missed if I don't mention the reserve unit that you guys have. I want to salute them, thank them for their service. They've been a great service to the communities in Wayne County, and they do it for the goodness of doing. That's
the only way we get it done. The things that we want to do in the communities, we need our reserve unit. We have a robust reserve unit. Exactly. It's amazing the work that they do. because it comes from the goodness of their heart. They're not getting paid, you know, they just want to be a part of moving Wayne County forward. So we really appreciate them. They're getting it done for us, and they're the ones that go out into the various communities and help us, whether it's on land or even in the water. They work with our Marine unit, and I would be remiss if I didn't say that. Our Marine unit is not just recovering bodies, unfortunately, and saving people in Wayne County. They go out into the other counties as well, the Oakland counties and Washington, wherever they're called, because we do have that kind of Marine unit.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Sam, I want to go back.
I just want to mention something. This is a great opportunity for me. I thank them in person in the Wayne County Commission, the reserve unit, during the Suhoor Festival in Ramadan.
Yes.
Nights we had about 100,000 people, I think, in one night, close to 100,000 people, and not one single incident, thanks to the reserve unit and obviously the Dearborn Police.
Yes.
And I want to thank my friends, you know, Zach
I don't want to name names because I know all of them.
No, they're all good, like Zach Haidar, Rabi Hamoud, Sam Osman, and the rest of them, Adnan Nassar, every one of them.
Wajih tahiyyat.
Exactly. That's why
I thank them, each one, all of them. Thank you for everything that you're doing.
And I thank them. What Sam said. Absolutely.
But it's got to be known that only happens because our sheriff makes sure it happens.
Absolutely.
Yes, of
Absolutely. We have to be about the community.
Yes.
We have to.
Without question. And I got to tell you, thank you for saying that, by the way. The Reserve Division knows how near and dear they are to our heart.
Yes.
The relationship they have with this administration, and I say this, the Sheriff Benny Napoleon and this administration is the same administration.
Yes.
You know, is above and beyond impeccable, and like the Sheriff said and everyone else said in this, they are amazing. They do a great job and they're professionally trained.
Yeah.
And contrary to what some people believe, they have police powers. They are sworn in by the Sheriff of Wayne County.
Okay. That's a good point.
And highly trained.
Okay.
Yes.
Anyone that's watching, متابعينا, whoever is watching, أكيد, if you have any question, please go ahead and write it in the comment area. I see some comments. I'll read them, you know, before we basically finish the show. But if you do have any question for our guest, feel free to write your question. The show will stay on Facebook for anyone. I know some people texted me if this is going to be stay on Facebook. It's going to stay on Facebook. It's going to be on YouTube. Some clips will go on TikTok, and also it's going to be available on our WhatsApp Media Network website, www.whatsappmedianetwork.com. Beautiful. I'm going to read the comments in a few, so I'll go back to it. Sam, I want to go back before I move to the election, because I want to spend some time on election. This is an important election. You know, this is the election. But before we go there, Miller, because this is a huge project and people were complaining a lot about it. It's impacting the lives of, you know, maybe tens of thousands of people. I know you guys were able to get the money. It's allocated, and like you guys said, Miller Road, you already started on it. Give us the update on Miller Road and Miller Bridge.
So Miller Road will be finished by the end of this year. And again, I want to thank the Evans administration for moving up these projects.
I was going to say that. Yeah,
they were on the bottom.
Priority.
Yeah, they made it a priority.
Let's explain to people when they fix roads. If we can explain to whoever is watching, there is a priority list, and
there's a tracer system. They do it by the tracer, right, Asad? There's a tracer system, and they look at how many people travel on these roads. But the south end of Dearborn, there's two entrances to the south end.
Exactly.
Miller Road in Wyoming. And really, Miller Road, when you drove, Asad and I went there and we did a Facebook Live. It's like a war zone over there. You don't think you're in the United States.
100%. And I remember the event that was done at Salina, if you remember, a few years back, and you guys brought the engineer from the Wayne County. And he was talking, I mean, Miller Road and Miller Bridge, they were in the bottom of the list when it comes to priority. So for you guys to move it that fast and get it done, that's something to be applauded for. Go ahead.
And you know, a lot of people got to realize that sometimes the roads that are around industrial areas, because the big trucks come through, that those damage the roads. So roads like Miller and Wyoming are heavily traveled by big trucks and heavy trucks, and those roads deteriorate faster than others. And we were able to move the projects up, and like the commissioner said, we worked with at the time State Representative Abdullah Hamoud, who's the mayor of Dearborn now, the governor's office. County executive fought very hard to ensure we got the money in the state budget to fix the Miller Bridge. And we know how important Miller Bridge is to the residents of the south end. That is the access point. That's the access point to get to East Dearborn and everywhere else in the county. And I remember, at times when the bridge was shut down, it made it very difficult
100%.
for travel around the
Detours
city,
and stuff, yeah.
Exactly. So, and we want to make sure that the residents of the county are getting proper service. And when we see there's a problem and we need to prioritize, we'll jump in and make that priority. And that's exactly what we did in this situation.
Also, Hussein, every green across from Henry Ford College and
Yeah.
University of Michigan in
Yeah.
Dearborn, that's being completely replaced from Michigan Avenue all the way to Ford Road.
Beautiful.
Again, this is another project that was moved up, and thanks to the Evans administration for taking care of that.
Did you guys start on that one already?
Yeah, it's in the process right
Beautiful.
now.
So, as a sheriff that drives all over the county,
Right.
It's all over the county. I haven't seen roads get repaired the way, when I say repaired, replaced the way they've been getting replaced under this administration.
And I can tell you
Countywide.
this, we in 2020 when COVID hit, a lot of municipalities slowed down.
Yes, true.
Okay, Wayne County did it. We did 30% more road projects.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
During
Yes,
COVID than
yes.
we did in the prior year, and we stepped that up. And that's a time when you elect leadership, you don't elect them for good times.
Yes.
You
The
elect
challenging
them
times.
to get you through challenging times, to get you through the crisis, and
Yeah.
to make sure everything's taken
point.
care of. And that's when you look around. That's when you really want to test the leader. Test them when it's time,
Yeah.
when it's needed. And,
Yeah.
and
We got some questions on Facebook about the expungement. I know you guys were doing some kind of expungement fair.
Yes.
Can we touch base on this?
Absolutely.
Please,
Sure,
Sheriff?
sure. So this was our first of many. We're going to do some more. We call it our first annual one because we found during this first expungement, those that are looking for second chances, those with a felony conviction that want to enjoy the things of life that we enjoy, good jobs, being able to afford housing and have a house, to take care of their children, to take care of their families. We put this expungement fair together thinking that, we'll get a few people here that's looking for, to have that felony conviction expunged. Well, we had over 2,000 people there that showed up to say, hey, I want an opportunity to be a productive citizen in life. And it was amazing that we were able to accommodate those people, and we did accommodate everyone, because the ones that we couldn't get to, in all transparency, we made sure we set the pathway up for them to be at the very next one. Not necessarily ours, other expungement people who have organizations who who offer expungements as well.
Beautiful.
So it was a wonderful thing.
Beautiful.
Wonderful.
Mike, you want to add anything
No,
before?
he just said it all. The sheriff just said it all. I mean,
Yeah.
it was great. It was very heartwarming.
Beautiful.
It
It was great
Sheriff, did
have
you want to
partners.
touch on the jail millage?
Yeah, well,
Yes,
well,
and I could add to it. Yeah.
no,
Can we keep it until we get to
Okay.
elections?
Sure,
I wanna,
sure.
because I
Sure,
want to move
sure.
to elections right now.
Sure.
I think this is very important. Like I said, this is the election.
It's a part of
this
that,
is
yeah.
this is elections that's going to impact the U.S. probably for the next generations to come, whether on a local level or on a national level. I'm going to focus on Wayne County this time, because we have another show that's going to talk about the national level.
Okay.
I want to talk about the importance of this election. How important is this election? I'll start with you, Sam Baydoun.
It's very important. It's very important for the reasons that we just outlined. You need leadership. Leadership is tested at different times of challenging times. And like the Miller Road, the Miller Bridge, COVID, the flooding, I can go on and on. That's when leaders rise. We walked, me and Ascad, throughout the streets with the mayor of Dearborn and other members of the city council during the flooding. And hand in hand, we help people, to clean out their basements.
With the sheriff's office.
With the sheriff's office.
Sheriff's
of course,
office
yeah.
was there. Yes, yes, yes.
Set it up in Highland Park together. in Dearborn.
Can I mention how important
Yeah,
it is
please
as
go
well?
ahead. Yeah, I'm going to ask all of you about them.
Yeah, this primary election is so important. I can't tell you how many people I've spoken to, and they talk about, I'm waiting on for the general in November. I don't even vote in the primary,
Yes.
and I tell them I'm so amazed to hear that, because the primary is where you really elect the people, the county exec, the sheriff, the state reps, the county commissioners. These are the people who you call. Who's going to answer the phone? I mean, the general, when we talk about the attorney general, we talk about the governor, there's a place for all of that.
Yes.
But we're the ones that's going to answer the phone on the first ring.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're going to get the governor
That's a good point, by the way.
and the attorney general. You're going to talk to about 5 people before you get to them.
Definitely.
But you're going to get to them, but it's going to be You're not going to be. It's not going to be like
There
us.
is buffers before you get to them.
It's local.
Yeah.
Politics are local. This primary is very local, and we are the ones who want to serve the citizens of Wayne County.
I'm glad you mentioned that point, because especially when it comes to the Arab American community, they focus a lot on national elections, like especially presidency and stuff. And whenever there is no presidency election,
Nobody goes.
you feel like the turnout is less.
Yes.
It's vice versa. When it comes to local election, this is actually what impacts our daily lives.
Yes.
The decisions that you guys make,
Yes.
it impacts everyone's life.
That is true.
Whether on a city level or county level, or whatever you guys do on a commission or sheriff. I mean, this is if you live in Dearborn, if you live in Dearborn Heights, if you live in those cities within Wayne County, whatever you guys are taking decision is going to impact them directly. It's not going to take time.
So true.
Exactly.
Right?
Can I add
please,
one
Mike.
thing? Since it's about elections.
Yes.
When you go to the polls and you look at names of individuals you're going to vote for, think about the individual and where have they been in the last 8 years or 10 years or 15 years.
True.
Well, people need to understand they can't believe in some of the fake politics. An individual comes in, hasn't done anything for, let's say, the Dearborn community, never in entire career, then suddenly say, hey, I'm running for a position,
Knocking
I
on your
want you
door.
to vote for you. I'm not gonna, look, actions are louder than words.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna speak about me, about Sheriff Washington, about Assad. Action are louder than words. People know, don't insult people's intelligence.
Right.
They know who have stepped up to the plate, and they know who have been here for communities. And I say communities because it's Wayne County.
This is what I said before when we said
Not at
communities,
election
not
time.
community.
They've been here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not at election time.
when I started the show, I said you guys are visible to the people.
Yes.
And this is what I mean by being visible, by being accessible.
Yes.
And this is very
Accessible is
important
very
when you have
important.
an elected official.
Yes.
If they get elected and then they disappear,
Yes.
what's the point?
I give citizens my phone number,
Yeah.
my direct phone number, and they call me when they need something. And I'm trying to have movie night with my wife or something, and I have to tell her to put it on pause because I have to take this call. People call because they need something. I feel obligated to answer the phone.
Hussein, to that point, I want to add something.
Please.
The Wayne County Sheriff, the Wayne County Executive, the Wayne County Commissioners, we're not responsible for what happens in Washington. We're not responsible for the inflation.
Thank you for
We're not
mentioning
responsible for the gas prices.
Bravo.
Right.
We are responsible for the roads. When the people call us and complain about the potholes, I can call the 188 road crew and I can have the county, the DPS director send their crew and fix the road here in Wayne County. We're not calling Washington for that.
Yes.
When there's an event in the community and we need the assistance of the Wayne County Sheriff, we don't call Washington, we
do
call
not.
here.
Yes.
Not Washington,
We call
the sheriff.
this
We call this Washington. We call this Washington. How about that?
Yeah, we call this Washington, Mr.
Yeah,
Washington.
yeah,
So
yeah.
the point is, don't look at the national politics
Bravo.
and penalize the local,
Absolutely
the members of your community who are there for you every day.
Yes.
You may not agree with
I'm
their.
glad you mentioned that.
You may
point,
not
Sarah.
agree with
a
their
very good point.
politics on the national level or in the foreign policy. We're not responsible for the foreign
are not.
policy.
Yeah.
We have nothing to do with that.
I'll tell you this: every election, they tell you this is the most important election season.
No, this one is.
The reality
Yeah, the
is
primary.
every election is important.
Yes.
It's important because, communities, when you go out and vote, that's how you get influence.
Yes.
Bravo.
Okay.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the bottom line is the more a community votes, the more influence they'll have.
Yeah.
And politicians stay in business by getting votes. Business owners stay in business by making money. But politicians have to serve their constituents.
Have to serve.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
And the most important thing in government, and I say this, and it's actually a pet peeve of mine. Okay. If you call me, I will answer. If you call the county executive, he will answer.
Call the
If
sheriff.
you call the sheriff,
He's
he will
gonna
answer.
answer.
If you call
Yes.
Mike Jaffer, he will
Yes.
answer. You call
Yes.
the commissioner,
Sure.
they will answer the phone.
That is correct.
The most important thing in government is to be accessible.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
All politics is local.
All politics is local.
All politics is local.
100%. But I want to re-emphasize on the point that Sam mentioned. But allow me to
Yes,
say it
yes.
in Arabic, please, because
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
very important. اللي عم بيقوله الأستاذ سام بيدون إنه لازم تفرقوا ما بين السياسي على صعيد الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية إن كان في البيت الأبيض أو السياسة الخارجية والانتخابات المحلية. الانتخابات المحلية مثل ما شايفين هودي أبناء الجالية، هن أبنائنا هدول، فاهمين كيف؟ هؤلاء الأشخاص اللي هن عم بياخذوا قرارات تتعلق بحياتنا اليومية، ما خصهم بالتضخم اللي صاير بالولايات المتحدة الأمريكية، ما خصهم بارتفاع أسعار البنزين بالولايات المتحدة الأمريكية، ما خصهم بأنه الاقتصاد هلأ بأمريكا مش ماشي منيح، ما خصهم بأنه هلأ روسيا هجمت على أوكرانيا وفي حرب، ما خصهم بالسياسة الخارجية والصراع ما بين الكيان الإسرائيلي وفلسطين، ما خصهم بهيك شغلات. اللوكال إلكشن كانوا على صعيد المقاطعة ولا على صعيد المدن، هودي بيعطوا قرارات تتعلق فينا نحن شخصيا، ما خصهم ببايدن وما خصهم بهودي الشغلات. فخلينا نفصل لما نحن عم نصوت ما بين ما يحصل على الصعيد الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية وما يحصل على صعيد المجتمع والمحيط اللي نحن عايشين فيه. بس حبيت اوضح هذه النقطة لأنه بعتبرها في غاية الأهمية.
Very well said.
Thank you, Sam. طيب بالنسبة لحضرتكم لحتى استفيد من وجودكم هلا in terms of you guys, what kind of goals and vision for the next term you guys are trying to achieve? And I'll start with you, Sheriff. And I'll
So
go to Assad.
thank you for asking that. Our goals are that we do the best we can and do better even in our recruiting efforts to make sure we're filling those budgeted positions that we have that are vacant in our organization. We don't hide from the fact that, you know, maybe it wasn't a lot of emphasis put on when a lot of people came into our agency, and now there are times for them to retire. And maybe we wasn't watching that as close as we are, but we're watching it closely now. And we're on a mission to make sure that we can get more people into on our staffing level. It helps us. We working off our officers, our deputies, 16 hours a day, sometimes mandated, mandatory, and we don't want to do that. People should be able to work, go home to their families, and come back the next day. 8-hour jobs, and if they want to work overtime, it's an option. But we're mandating those to work 16 hours, and I don't like it one bit. So we're working hard through our recruiting effort and the innovative things we're doing with our recruiting effort through QR codes and things like that to get people into our agency, and it's working.
So we are hiring, so let your audience know.
Yes.
If you want to become the police, it's a great time to do it.
Yeah.
Sheriff Washington, I know you're running for election right now for people to retain you for your position.
Yes.
And I know WhatsApp media is geared toward Arab, American, and Chaldeanians in this community.
Okay.
And when it comes to you taking office, the first decision you made, it spoke volume about your commitment to the Arab American community by hiring Mike as the Undersheriff. And I want to highlight this, to be honest with you, because that was the first decision you took. And this shows how much commitment you have to this community to get them involved in the process and hire their talent to the highest position in the county.
It wasn't a heavy lift at all. I mean, after all, I did teach him everything he knows and about law enforcement. So it wasn't. That's the truth. And his brother and Sam.
The first Arab American Undersheriff.
Exactly. And so it wasn't a heavy lift at all. I knew, you know, you have to bring talented people in with you who are not going to say the same thing you say necessarily. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And because I always believe if we all saying the same thing, then some of us aren't necessary. You know, so I need somebody saying something different than what I'm saying, so we can assess it all and we can move this agency forward. I don't work on an island and make decisions by myself. I do it with my staff, and I think we best serve the community that way. So I'm happy to have him as my Undersheriff, and he'll be here as long as I'm here. So if you all want him here, you got to have me here. Because trust me, if I'm not here, he may not be here. Really.
Mike,
very good point.
That's true. That's true.
For the same, you know, in terms of vision and goals.
You know, so I definitely agree with the sentiments of the sheriff. We put recruiting in overdrive. But one of my goals, and I've talked to the sheriff about this, is God willing we get staffed properly. We move into this new facility, state-of-the-art facility, by the way, the new jail. And, you know, we've talked to some of the commissioners where we're able to put more officers on the streets and assist the municipalities across this county and make it like it was back in the late 90s where you had 200 narcotic officers. You know, those are big dreams, but you know, that's something that I would envision in terms of making this a full-blown police department, because the men and women in Brown do a phenomenal job. They're highly trained. That's one of our proudest accomplishments there. Asad Turfe was born and raised in the sheriff's office, and look where he's at today.
Right.
So That's one of our goals.
Beautiful. Sam?
So for my short-term goal, and I'm going to tell you, as one of the 15 commissioners, we are very close to the Sheriff Department and all the elected offices in Wayne County, but especially the Sheriff Department. I can talk about my friend, Commissioner Ray Basham. I mean, he's one of the biggest supporters. We all support the Wayne County Sheriff's Department. And as the Vice Chair of Ways and Means, we will have we'll start the hearing on the budget on August 4th. We hope to have a unanimous budget with the executive's assistance. Obviously, we're going to have a consensus on the budget where all the elected officials and their departments are working properly and efficiently to serve the residents of Wayne County. For me, for the next 2 years, I want to continue working with the current administration, with Mr. Evans, with Khalil, with As'ad, to continue improving on the services that they provide. I want to continue working on improving the roads throughout my districts in Dearborn and Allen Park.
Okay, beautiful. As'ad?
Yes, you know, the county right now, when we look at, you're talking about goals, is the county is no exception to what everybody else. We're having a hard time finding employees. And we're having a hard time finding employees to work. I know the sheriff has several vacancies. Our Department of Public Service has several vacancies, and what we're looking at the county right now, looking to see creative ways to make sure we get people more in the door and be more competitive. We've given all our unions across the board pay raises. But as we look in the future, we got $339 million of ARPA money, $339 million of ARPA that we're working with the 43 communities in the county. That we're going to be working on projects coming to every single municipality in this county, and that's going to be something we're going to be working on over the next year, 2 years, figuring it out, and then obviously there's going to be a couple years of construction after that. But there's going to be some big projects that are important to communities in Wayne County that the Wayne County Executive Warren Evans and his team are working on.
As'ad, a lot of people now undermined as the economy and the fears of recession. How's the position for Wayne County right now? Are we ready for anything in the horizon?
Yes. So obviously, we look around. Everyone could feel, the high gas prices. The cost of everything has gone up. The rate of inflation's up. The CPI, I think, is over 9% right now.
9.1,
yeah. And and there seems like there's no end to this the tunnel that we're driving. And obviously we prepare, we think about these things when you do our budget. We're about to pass our 8th consecutive budget, balanced budget in a row.
Beautiful.
And hopefully a unanimous one if we get all the commission votes. And I think that would be
I know counties
one.
And cities, they set aside like rainy funds, you guys call them?
Yeah, so we have right now we have about $160 million in our rainy day fund. Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay.
Speaking of projects, by the way, I'd like to mention this. Mayor Hammoud of the city of Dearborn will be making an announcement, I think, next month about projects with Wayne County that will help the entire city of Dearborn.
Okay.
So it's
beautiful.
coming.
This is something to highlight, that there is also always partnerships between counties and cities.
Yes,
Mike, you have something?
Yeah, very important. Thank you for bringing that up. I got to say this publicly.
Sure.
The relationship with the new administration. I've been doing this for 28 years. 19 years old, I've been a police officer, and I was born and raised in the city of Dearborn. It's a breath of fresh air to have a great relationship with your chief of police and your loving mayor.
Beautiful.
Because you can pick up the phone, just like you can pick up the phone and call me.
Yep.
They answer, and we get stuff done.
Yes. Beautiful. I want to get to the most important point in this show today, which is, people are watching and people will watch. Usually people watch even more after the show. Those who are watching now or later, why should they support Executive Evans, Sam, Commissioner Baydoun, Mr. Sheriff?
Yes.
And I'll start with you, Sam, since we started with the Sheriff in the previous question. Sam,
Well, like I said earlier,
why people should support Sam Baydoun?
Well, I just want to continue the work that we have started. We want to build on the progress. We have a lot of good things happening in Wayne County.
Okay.
And like they say, well, you rock the boat. And that's the reason.
Okay.
And then I'm going to come back and talk about the
We're going to
ballot.
talk about the ballot in a few. Sam, your race is contested this time.
Yes.
On both sides, Democrats and then the Republican
Yes.
side. What sets you aside from the other candidates?
Well, on the Democratic side, the other candidate that was put on the ballot is a no-show. I haven't seen him, and you know, I was invited to a forum with the League of Women Voters. I replied. He didn't reply, so they canceled it. So he's not visible. As far as I'm concerned, this is one of those. I'd like to say this.
Go ahead.
Running for office takes a lot of commitment and hard work, whether it's knocking on doors, raising money, and talking to you know, to residents and speaking on the issues. Okay, the issues that we just talked about, the everyday issues, the Oakman Boulevard, the Miller Road, the Miller Bridge, these issues. So running for office takes a lot of commitment. I'm not against anybody running for office. As a matter of fact, it's very healthy. Democracy, this is democracy. That's what I love about this country. 100%. But don't put a name on the ballot just for the heck of it, because you don't want the candidate to have a free ride. Right. For me, I love it. You know, but the best part about running for office for me is knocking on doors and putting lawn signs. And I'm not done putting lawn signs yet.
Definitely. Thank you for your answer, Assad.
Yes. So
for Mr. Evans.
I'll tell you this, Wayne County Executive Warren Evans, he's been in government for over 50 years, and most of that 50 has been at Wayne County. And you know, he started up at the bottom, worked his way up, and I'll tell you this, let's look at his track record. His track record, he took over a county that was broken, and now we have an A-bond status. And we're fiscally responsible, we're inclusive of all communities, and we're accessible. And, you know, and one thing that we learn, we're constantly learning from ourselves. And, you know, every day it's a challenge, you know, just every community has different aspects. What's good for Northville may not be good for Taylor, and what's good for Southgate may not be good for Dearborn, and what's good for Dearborn Heights may be different than Melvindale, you know? So we gotta constantly balance that, but we gotta be accessible to everyone, and that's what we do every day to work. And the county executive really takes public service very serious. And he's definitely been very visible in the community, very accessible, great work in partnership with all our countywide electeds, you know. And I think that's what's needed, and that's what's needed more in government, is needed people with access and people with good character and trying to get things done. And
again,
one thing, let me
go ahead.
Let me just kind of say this too. I think it's important. I know we got a sample ballot here.
We're gonna talk about the flipping the ballot.
Yeah, flip the ballot.
We're gonna
flip the ballot. Make sure you vote for the Wayne County Executive Warren Evans. Vote for Sheriff Raphael, Washington.
I'm leaving a section for this because I really want to focus on this.
You gotta flip the ballot. Yes.
In terms of flipping the ballot and voting for parties, since
Yes.
this is gonna be a partisan election in some of those seats. But since I mentioned when we talked about the sheriff hiring the undersheriff, Mike Jaffer, I want to also mention when it comes to the executive. I mean, when it comes the team, the executive team that you guys have there. I mean, you're the chief of staff. Khalil is the director of economic development, if I'm not mistaken.
Chief administrative officer.
Exactly, and the list will go on and on. To be honest,
I
when
mean,
it comes to the appointments,
two of the most prominent individuals in the executive branch of government are Arab Americans, and proud Arab Americans, and they serve all residents of Wayne County, not just Arab Americans. It's very important to distinguish that.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't want to miss you guys.
So you know, I'll save the best for last, but I'll put my 2 cents in here. It's
Please, go ahead.
Why should we vote for Sheriff Raphael Washington? When I'm speaking on our behalf, on his behalf. Very simple, I said it earlier. Do you know the other 2 candidates? Who are they? Where have they been? Have they ever been on the road? Has anyone ever seen them patrol? Negative. That's all I need to say.
Okay.
So that's absolutely correct. We talk about why should people vote for me? Well, 39 years in law enforcement, never quit on the community, never stopped. We have someone that's in the race. We got two, a female and a male. Female, she's in the race. She told me personally that she didn't want to even do that. Someone forced her, put her in to do it. That's not a reason to be the sheriff, or even give up your whole summer, your life, to try to run for a position that you don't even want. And then they've got another person that's in it that actually quit on the community. Not retired because they were ready to retire, quit because they couldn't get promoted back in 2009 and walked out on the sheriff's office and the community. You got to do this because you're about the community, not about self. Those 2 things, those 2 people, it's about self. I'm about service, all right? I wouldn't still be doing this after 39 years if I wasn't about service. So I'm just here to make sure that I serve the citizens of Wayne County. I'm in a position to take care of them. I want to take care of them. I want to take care of our staffing. situation. I want to take care of those men and women that work for the sheriff's office. I want to take care of our inmate population, which I like to call our resident population. I want to take care of all of that. I still want to, after these many years in law enforcement. And so that's why you should vote for me, because I still have the energy. I still have the energy. I have the knowledge. I have the education. I prepared myself for the opportunity. Not because I wanted it because Benny Napoleon died. I did want to make sure I advance his legacy while I build my own. But I was fine working right under him, just like Assad works for the county executive. I wanted to work for Benny Napoleon, and I had worked for him for over 30 years, lockstep together. That's how I know I'm ready, because I learned how to serve people from one of the best that you all say that ever did it in law enforcement, Benny Napoleon. I was there with him.
Beautiful. Just so I can give some time to the ballot, I want to talk about the ballot, since, when I ran for election on November, it was really hard telling people to flip the ballot, and not too many people actually flipped the ballot. All of you guys sitting here, I mean, you're representing Executive Evans.
Yes.
You're going to be on the back of the ballot.
Yes.
So let's talk about it. Sam, you have the ballot.
So I have
Very
the
quickly, if
sample
you don't
ballot. I
mind.
have the sample ballot here. There's two issues here. First of all, if you're going to re-elect me and Warren Evans, Mr. Warren Evans, and retaining Sheriff Washington, you have to stay on the left side of the ballot. هيدي البالت stay on the left side. خليك عملت شمال، لا تروح يمين ولا النص، خليك عملت شمال. Stay on the left. Stay on the left lane. ما فيك تخلط البالت بين الريبابليكان وبين الديمقراط. إذا بتخلط البالت بين الريبابليكان وبين الديمقراط صوتك لا يحتسب، يلغى. فهذا شيء كتير مهم. بدك تنتخبنا بدك ضلك على left side of the ballot. Then make sure in the front you have the governor, members of Congress, like our sister Rashida, and then you have the other state rep races for the 3 districts in Dearborn. And then you go to the ballot. On the top of the ballot, on the second page, Warren C. Evans, Raphael Washington, and Wayne County Commissioner Sam Baydoun.
اعطيني الورقة سام شوي بس this one. So قدامكم على الشاشة هيدي، وراح نحط هيدي الصورة اللي شايفينها قدامكم، راح نحطها على قناة شو الأخبار. نحن لما بتاخذوا انتم ورقة الاقتراع اخواننا، لما بتروحوا بدكم تقترعوا، ان كنتوا عم تقترعوا غيابيا، هلا صار فيكم تقترعوا غيابيا الابسنتي من هلا لا اوغست 2، بس ليتس سي انتم بدكم تنتخبوا بنهار الانتخابات، هيدي الورقة ليتس سي هي ورقة الاقتراع البالت. على الصفحة الأولى في الجفرنر، في الكونغرس، في الستيت ريبس، بدكم تقلبوا على الصفحة الثانية الباك اوف ذا بالت، ما تنسوه عملوا معروف. على الباك اوف ذا بالت بس تقلبوها في موضوع الكاونتي اكزيكتيف وارن ايفنز، في الشeriff رافائيل واشنطن، وفي كاونتي كوميشنر كمان سام بيدون. في شيء غير هيك هو هني. والشغله الثانيه بدك تنتبهوا لها كثير مش شوي، لانه اذا ما انتبهتوا لها صوتكم بيلتغى، اللي هو موضوع ما فيكم تصوتوا لجمهوريين وديمقراطيين بنفس الوقت، بدكم تنقوا. يعني اذا انت ليتس سي صوتت لسام ولا اكزيكتيف ايفنز ولا شيريف واشنطن، ما فيك تصوت ولا واحد جمهوري. خلينا نتفق على هيدي النقطه، يعني فاهمين كيف؟ ما تخلطوا الصوت، لانه اذا خلطت الصوت يلتغى الصوت، وبالتالي بتخسر صوتك وهيك شغلات.
بالمناسبة لازم نذكر حسين انه في بالت باللغة العربية كمان.
مزبوط. بديربون
وبهامترامك، خاصة بديربون اللي بده يصوت في الارابيك بالت. فيك تطلب انت الارابيك بالت، بس بدك تروح تنتخب تقول له للشخص اللي موجود انا بدي الارابيك بالت.
تمام. النقطتين المهمة بدي ارجع اعيد ونكررهم. اول شغلة بدكم تقلبوا البالت، ميك شور تصوتوا على الميل الاولى والميل الثاني، وثاني شغلة ما فيكم تصوتوا للحزبين، يعني ما فيكم تصوتوا للمرشحين جمهوريين وديمقراطيين بنفس الوقت، بدك تنقوا. ومثل ما قلنا قبل شوي، نسوا شو عم بيصير على المستوى الوطني، ركزوا على المستوى المحلي، على اللوكال الكشن، وشوفوا الاشخاص. هل يا ترى انتم اشخاص بتعرفوهم، شايفينهم موجودين بالجالية، اذا تواصلتوا معهم عم بيردوا عليكم، عم بيحلوا لكم مشاكلكم، اذا ايه انتخبوهم. بدي اوصل للclosing. I want to get to the closing because time we're out of time, but we'll extend for 5 minutes.
Let him touch a little bit on the jail
very quickly if we can.
So it's important that we renew. We're not talking about a new millage. We're talking about renewing the millage that we already have to make sure that we're able to operate in excellence the way we want to do with our jails, our detention centers, and things like that. Assad, Turfe, and the executive branch to put this together to make sure that we understand it's a renewal. It's what we're already doing, and we want to continue that. It's 10-year. We want to continue to do that. And I think that
0.9358 mils per every 1,000. So it comes so for every $150,000 of value,
right,
you're looking at for I'm sorry, about 94 cents per $1,000 taxable.
That's
$1,000.
what we're
Yeah.
talking about.
Very good. So that's for the millage.
The
Yes.
millage, jail millage.
Jail.
Jail millage.
It's a
yes.
renewal. It happens every 10 years,
Yes.
and that is very important to the county for it to pass.
And this
Yes.
is for the
That's
operation.
very important
The
for
operation of
the
it.
operation to ensure
Yes.
that we can continue to house the prisoners that need to be housed.
Yeah.
And,
Yes.
You know, and right now the prisoners that are being housed in the county jail, and the sheriff can talk
Yes.
about this, they're the most violent offenders.
Yeah.
And you don't want them out there on the streets.
Yes.
That's why it's important for
Yes.
these
This
millage
millage
to
is
pass.
to be
So the message,
renewed.
the millage is very important. Vote
It's on
yes
the
for
back.
it.
Absolutely.
It's on the back,
To
yes.
make
It's also
sure-
on the back.
On the
Yes.
تمام. My time is out.
No, it's
Very-
on the first page.
First
I'm
page?
sorry.
It's on the first page.
The
So
millage is
الملج
on the
تبع
first
الجيل
page.
تبع السجن
على
فيرست
الصفحة
بيج.
الأولى.
المرشحين الموجودين معنا على الصفحة الثانية بشكل سريع 30 seconds for each one of them because I'm out of time. Your final message, closing message, if we want to say, and we'll start with you, Sheriff, very
Sure,
quickly. and this is
sure.
the camera over there.
I need you all to vote. I need everyone to vote. That's very important that we vote on August 2nd. If you haven't already, absentee ballot or early voting is there for you as well. We need to make sure that we retain Raphael Washington, your Wayne County Sheriff. If it's good for me, it's going to be good for Dearborn Heights, our partners in law enforcement, that we can continue to work with the Dearborn Police Department and just move this city forward. It's very important. So I humbly ask you all to vote for me as your Wayne County Sheriff, Raphael Washington.
Mike, this camera.
Yeah, so I think the sheriff said it all. I just would ask folks to remember who they know and see, and the rest is history. There's not much more to say other than the fact that let the past speak for itself.
Yes.
Remind them of the name.
Raphael Washington.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Sam.
Raphael Washington.
This camera.
أنا بدي أحكي بالعربي.
بسرعة شوي.
بدي أتوجه من أبناء الجالية بالتحية وأقول لهم إنه هذه الانتخابات كتير مهمة بأغسطس 2. اطلعوا انتخبوا للأشخاص اللي بتلاقوهم موجودين وقت أنتوا بتكونوا بحاجة لإلهم. الصوت اللي بتصوتوا لرافائيل واشنطن كمان عم بتصوت لصاحبنا هون لأنه هو جزء من هذا التيم. ولما بتصوت لورن إيفنز كمان عم بتصوت للأشخاص الموجودين لأسعد ولخليل ولكل اللي موجودين بقلب الكاونتي جوفرمنت اللي ما في يكون يوم الثلاثاء. If you can't make it on Tuesday, you can walk into the city hall in any city hall in Wayne County and you can vote in person. فيك تنتخب قبل الانتخابات اللي هي بأغسطس 3.
That's a great point. People don't know that.
Yeah.
That's good you mentioned that.
Asad.
Yes, very simple. On Tuesday, August 2nd, vote for Warren C. Evans for Wayne County Executive. And just like Sam said, and the sheriff mentioned it, is come out, vote for our sheriff, Raphael Washington, vote for Sam. And I think it's important to say that if you can't vote on August 2nd, you know you can't make it to the poll that day, go to your city clerk's office.
Yes.
Pull a ballot. Vote right there. It'll take you about 5 to 10 minutes, and then you don't got to worry about it on election day.
And if you're not registered to vote, you can register on the spot and vote on the spot.
Yes, correct.
Thank you again for being here.
Thank you
for your time.
Thank you so much.
For always being accessible and best of luck on your election.
Thank you.
مشاهدينا ومتابعينا هذه كانت حلقتنا لليوم حلقة خاصة بالانتخابات ضمن تغطية قناة شو الأخبار للانتخابات المحلية والأمريكية بشكل عام. إذا كان عندكم أي سؤال فيما يتعلق بالانتخابات مثل ما معودين علينا نحن رح نشرح أكثر وأكثر عن الانتخابات بفيديوهات مثل ما معودين علينا، وأيضا رح يكون في حلقة خاصة بأغسطس 2 عشية بالليل لحتى نعلن النتائج ونحلل النتائج على المستوى المحلي والمستوى الوطني في الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية إن كان على الولايات أو الناشونال ليفل. أكيد فيكم تعملوا شير لهيدا الفيديو، وأيضا فيكم تشاهدوا الحلقة كاملة على فيسبوك، يوتيوب، والويب سايت الخاص فينا www.whatsappmedianetwork.com. رسالتي النهائية لكم خاصة للجاليات العربية والشرق الأوسطية والبلدانية، الانتخابات في غاية الأهمية. هيدي هو فرصتكم لحتى تقرروا مصيركم وتكونوا مشاركين في صنع القرار. الانتخاب أولا ثم أولا ثم أولا. Vote, vote, vote. Doesn't matter who you vote for. The most important thing is you go out and vote. This was Hussein for WhatsApp Media Network. Thank you and good night.